Hey everyone, Kenny Ballantyne here. This is video number 3 of our 5-part series on bringing childhood back outside. In this video, we get to go into my favorite thing to talk about, the amazing benefits of an outdoor childhood. Let's start off with this clip from Nature Kids.
If a parent values their child's development, then they will value exposing their children to nature.
Physical development is what really leads to success in school, success in life, being healthy, being psychologically strong. All of those fundamental aspects of being a happy, healthy human being really depend to a large extent on getting enough outdoor time, particularly when children are young and just developing. So those first 5 years of life, when brain development is first blossoming and when so much of your brain is growing, that's the time when children need to be outdoors and physically active. Because being physically active is what develops the neural pathways inside the brain that learning in school and in life later on depend upon.
There's been this trend the last 20 years or so to get kids absorbing as much information as possible as early as possible, and we keep pushing it earlier and earlier. So kindergarten has become the new first grade, etc. And I think the psychological studies have come out debunking this trend, that trying to force feed kids information is not the way to make them more intelligent, more engaged adults. Rather, play is a central element that kids are missing. Kids don't have the unstructured time, either indoors or outdoors, that they used to have. And play is learning. And learning, in some ways, for kids is play. They're almost interchangeable. So by taking that away from kids, I think the psychology backs up the idea that we're actually hurting kids more than if we actually just let them have that time outside in nature, engaging and playing.
It makes you a better person intellectually, it makes you a better person physically, emotionally, psychologically. And now, for the first time in history, we're starting to see a lot of this research coming out that's supporting those facts, When you get outside, your math and science scores increase. When you get outside, you're more likely to take leadership skills and build on them. When you get outside, you are a better person in general.
Multiple studies have concluded that unstructured outdoor play significantly improves academic performance. In fact, a very recent study funded by the World Wildlife Federation concludes that increased time outside directly correlates with improved classroom behavior, increased student motivation and enthusiasm to learn, better performance in math, science, reading, and social studies, higher scores on standardized tests, including college entrance exams, and measurably better performance from under-resourced, low-income students. Unstructured outdoor play also provides the hands-on experience that becomes the foundation for all learning. When kids are turned loose to find their own fun, they naturally become little explorers. They investigate. They look for answers to their questions using their hands and all their senses. They make their own discoveries and develop a lifelong love of learning. When kids are free playing outside in nature, they are exercising their active imagination. I use this phrase, active imagination, in opposition to what I call a passive imagination. A child is using a passive imagination when they are passively taking in stories, characters, games, and challenges. Examples of this would be watching TV, playing video games, or role-playing with media characters. The child is still using their imagination, but it is not a creative imagination. All the creative elements of their play are coming from without and not from within. A child is exercising an active imagination when they are challenged to come up with their own stories, their own characters, their own games and challenges. Exercising an active imagination prepares a child for lifelong creativity and innovation. And then there is the very important principle of beneficial risk. Yes, I did just say beneficial and risk in the same sentence. Can risk actually be good for kids? Well, when children are engaged in nature-based, unstructured play, they are testing and learning their personal limitations. This is how kids learn how strong they are, how to balance, and how high they can safely jump from. This is something that has for the most part been stripped out of modern playgrounds, which are now padded and meticulously planned out to eliminate all possible risk. By removing beneficial risk, we also remove a child's ability to learn their own limitations. Rocks, stumps, tree branches, and mud all serve as a school where children can go to master their physical abilities. Of course, there are physical and mental benefits to outdoor play, pretty much the opposite of the consequences that we discussed earlier. For example, kids who spend more time outside have lower BMIs. They also see sharp reductions in stress levels. And finally, as we discussed in the last video, this will ultimately have an impact on our planet. Time outside in nature is good for Mother Earth. Deep connections to the natural world creates a sense of stewardship for nature. Dr. Scott Sampson, who you just saw in the earlier clip, once said that reconnecting kids with nature is the single most important issue facing the planet today. You could pass all the climate change legislation you want, but if we fail to raise a generation of kids who care about the environment, it really won't matter. The wonderful thing is that we can actually do something about it. Isn't that exciting? We can actually solve the world's greatest crisis. So be sure to download our next infographic and spread it around. Let's make sure that everyone knows that nature is good for you. You can download the infographic by clicking on the link below or on the infographic thumbnail. In our next video, I will tell you the story of how we so quickly shifted from a world where children free roamed the neighborhood until the lights came on to the world of the indoor childhood. That's coming up in video number 4, and be sure to stick around. As promised, I have a special surprise for you at the end of video number 5. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm Kenny Ballantyne, and I will see you outside.